and welcome to the Hooked on Needles podcast. My name is Maricela, or Mari if you prefer, and this is episode 19. Today is September 20th, 2017, and welcome everyone. I hope you are all doing well. If you are a new viewer, I'm so glad you found me. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I very much appreciate it. So this is a little video podcast of my little adventure in my the yarny world that I have, where I just show you guys what I have been up to. So let's get going. I have a finished object that I get to share with you today, and that is I finished my Hermione's Everyday. They are living in my bag from John of the Boys Don't Knit podcast. Boys Don't Knit podcast. I felt like I said that weird. Anyways, here they are. Look at those little bumps. They are so adorable. That's when I showed them to you last. That's the marker. And then I finished them off. I actually finished these last night. And they're not very long. I'm not very tall, so I actually like my socks just covering my ankles. Not that it has anything to do with my height. I don't know why I said I'm not very tall, even though I'm not. But still, I decided nothing to do with my socks and why I like them the way I like them. But I do like them just hugging my ankles, and then I'm good. So yeah, so I do have two of them, and I started them with the Judy's Magic Cast On, and then went to Magic Loop, which I tried very hard to stay with Magic Loop the whole time, but unfortunately I couldn't do it. So I ended up then switching to 9-inch circulars to finish them off. I did a 3x1 rib, and I did a knit through the back bind off for the socks. And my rib was, it was 12 rows. But you can kind of see the stitches a little bit better there. And I love these socks. They are so cozy. So they are my first ever fancy pair of socks. Thank you so much, John. I will cherish them for as long as they last, which hopefully will be a long time because I'm only planning on wearing them around the house, so yay! So that is my only finished object this week. I didn't tell you the size needles. I did them on size 0, 2-point millimeters, my ChiaoGoos, and I also have the 9-inch circular ChiaoGoo. So, yeah. And yay, I'm so happy I have a finished object. So that is awesome. Put those over there. And then I have some works in progress. I had started this before last episode, but I completely forgot it in the car because that's where I have been knitting it. This is the 2x2, and the pattern is by Angie. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. It is a simple 2x2 rib hat, and I am using my ChiaoGoo Fixed size 5 or 3.75 millimeters. And here is a picture of the pattern. I apologize for the glare. But yeah, it's a very simple 2x2 rib. And this is actually a Christmas present. It is for my sister's father-in-law. I made a beanie for my brother-in-law last year, and we usually don't spend Christmases together, like my sisters and I, because we usually go away to visit my husband, and so we kind of don't see each other. So I wasn't there when like with my sister's father-in-law, but he did ask if I could please make him a hat. So of course I said yes, and so I decided on that one. And so hopefully that one will be off the needles not too far longer, because it's been on them for quite a bit, because I really wanted to finish the socks. So I'm glad I finally finished them. I love them, and yes, I started on that one. And then another Christmas present. Oh, and that was living in my Toe Creations bag for Megan. And so it's not just a sock sack. It could also be a hat sack. And I love it. Also, I love the drawstrings because, you know, nothing's going to get snagged. And then in this one, this was my attempt at making a bag, which I was semi-successful. I mean, I got a bag. It's just not very pretty. But this is the, oh no, I left my pattern in the car. I believe it's the Tibetan Fair Isle hat, I believe. And it is by Grains Nose Miller. I'm gonna guess at all of that. I will put the correct information in the description down below. It is also a free pattern on Ravelry. And yeah, here it is so far. This is going to my oldest nephew of the ones that are in Mexico. And so yeah, I'm gonna say like halfway done with it. I started it on Friday, and I'm losing my mind, but I'm using Fibra Natura Lima, and I can't find the name of the colorway. So yeah, I feel like my camera's wonky. I apologize. But that is the orangey color, and then is my main color. And then I bought some Cascade 220. That was one of my acquisitions, but I went ahead and broke into it just because I really wanted to get the hat started. And that one is color number 871. And it's just some Cascade 220. So yeah. And so that's coming along. Like I said, I started it on Friday, and I'm really enjoying it. I wanted to show you my floats because I'm very proud of them. And I am using my Dreams interchangeable US 6 or 4 millimeter tips on my 16-inch cable. And I'm loving it. You start with a smaller needle size, and then you change to get that nice ribbing there. And yeah, I'm loving it. It's a quite easy repeat. You remember it, and then you get going. And I usually knit with my main color, the orange one, on the right hand side. No, on the left hand side, sorry. On the left hand side. And then my contrast on the right. And that's how I hold it, because I'm a picker. So I pick at my stitches like this. And yeah. Sorry, that was an awkward position. I apologize. But yeah, it's coming along. I am enjoying it. Hopefully that will also be off the needles. And this one's moving along a lot faster because these are, what's it called? These are medium weight. Cascade 220 is medium weight. So it's not, what's it called? It's not very thin, and so it's moving along quite nicely. And the other one, the 2x2, even though I'm doubling up the yarn, did I show you the yarn? I don't think I did. Let me show you the yarn. I'm doubling up on it. It is the teal color, I believe I said, and it is wool-like from Loops and Thread. So yeah, I used double strands of it because it is quite thin by itself. I don't know if I can get it so I can show you how thin it is. It's quite thin. So then I double it up. It gets slightly thicker. I have a knot there. But yeah, so this one is taking a little bit longer to grow. So, but that's okay. And then I also have my double seed stitch baby blanket. It has not grown very much, probably about 2 inches. That's the stitch marker where I was right there, and that's the progress. But it has grown quite a little bit. So I really need to get this done. As of now, I don't think she's had the baby yet, which I really need to check on her because it's been a while. She probably should have had the baby already. So I need to call her and make sure she's okay. So yeah, so that'll hopefully be done soon as well. And then last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the future shawl that I have going on. Now, I have a dilemma where I don't know if I want to continue with it because I am making this for a friend for Christmas, but I think I want to change the pattern. I think I want to make her a Raina shawl. And the reason behind that is not the pattern, the future shawl, the future pattern, there's nothing wrong with it. I just haven't really gotten into it very much. I did the first set of repeats and then that was it, like the first section, and then I started the second, but I never really got further than that. So yeah, 1 second. Sorry, little man came to say goodnight, and I don't know if you'll notice, but there's a little cat missing now. So that was Gigi from the little cat that was here from the Ghibli Studios movie Kiki's Delivery Service, and it was one of his acquisitions this weekend. We went to Japan Fest and he got himself a Gigi, which we were really happy to find him because we have been looking for him for a really long time. So we were so excited, both him and I. So anyways, back to the yarny things. Yeah, so I am really thinking about turning that into a reina only because a friend of mine that knits is making herself a reina shawl. And so I was thinking, well, I think it'd be awesome if all of my friends had reina shawls. So I'm thinking I want to make a purple reina shawl and then another reina shawl for another friend of mine. Because I just think it would be cool for all of us to have reinas. And she was showing me, the friend that's knitting hers right now was showing me hers, and it is coming along so beautifully. Like, I don't know if it's the pattern. I think it's the pattern. I think the reina with hand-dyed yarn is coming out with such a beautiful like showing of your yarn, like because I love my reina shawl and I love the yarn that I used for it. And so when she was showing me hers, I was like, oh my gosh, yours is just as beautiful. Like, is it the pattern or the yarn? Although we got different dyers, right? She got hers from a lady in South Carolina, I believe, and I got mine from a guy in Iowa, I think is where he is. So totally different dyers and then the same pattern, but it just makes your yarn look so beautiful. And then it's just so beautiful. I love the reina shawl. I really do. So I think I may end up, if I don't end up scrapping this and turning it into a reina, then I will have to get some yarn for a reina shawl for my other friend and finishing the future and just keeping it for myself. I'm not sure because I really love the reina, and I mean, it works up real fast. So, I mean, if you have the time, you can sit there, and it's a pattern that you can learn rather quickly and get the gist, and then you just, have to mark it down. So, I think that might be what is on the plans for now. But that is all I have for you. That is projects related. I do have some stash enhancements or acquisitions, as you may know them. And I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Oh, so delicious. Okay, sorry. So I mentioned last episode I did not make it to the Georgia Fiber Fest, and I was super bummed out. Then I attempted to go to Eat Sleep Knit, failure again. But husband and I were house touring, and so we finished earlier than expected, and we were close to where their new location is. And so we stopped by, and it turns out that they are so much closer than what I thought ever. So I think I'm gonna be going a lot more than I thought. But I went with husband on the 14th, and I finally got some Madeline Tosh for myself, you guys. And I got this deep purple. Oh, it's so beautiful. I am in love with this. It's darker than what is showing on there, but it's just gorgeous. I love it. And I believe it's called Hamiko, the colorway. And I got it in the Tosh sock. It is 100% merino wool, fingering weight, 395 yards. Sorry, had to go put little man down. Okay, so then that was the plum, or the deep purple. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be making with it, but I love it. So we will see. And then this one is called Mill Pond, and it is the BFL sock. 100% blue-faced Leicester wool, fingering weight 420 yards. And it is a green, and it is gorgeous. So beautiful. I fell in love with those two colors so much. And that was when I went with husband, and I bought enough I also bought the Cascade 220 there. And then so I qualified to get my Laffy Taffy. Not Laffy Taffy. It's Taffy the Giraffe team. From their little game, like Candyland setup that they have. And it came with some jelly beans that were eaten by my son and my husband. It came with a little pen. It says Eat, Sleep, Knit. And you guys can sign up online. They do have, it is an online store. And so when you go in, it is overloaded with yarn. They have so much yarn. They were so nice when we went in there. They were like, oh, if you want to check in. And so I checked in on Facebook and got a little measuring tape with their little logo. They had some with cats, but I'm not much of a cat person. I know people are going to be like, what? I can't believe you. But I'm not. I am a dog person. So that was my purchase from the 14th. So then I talked to my friend, the one that is knitting the Raina shawl, and I told her, oh my gosh, I just went to Eat, Sleep, Knit, and it is so much closer than what I thought we could go. It's like literally down the street from her. So she called me and she was like, hey, so do you want to go again? And I was like, of course I do. So I did. I went back. Bag number 2 from Eat, Sleep, Knit. And when I went the second time, which was yesterday that we went, I got a 14-inch cable for my Chow Goose because I am thinking that I'm going to be on Christmas knitting duty, and therefore I need to make sure I have enough for my hats and everything. So I got one of those, and they were my first Madeline Tosh purchase, and now I can say that they are also my first Malabrigo. I'm so psyched. I don't know what I'm more excited about, the Madeline Tosh or the Malabrigo, but I was like freaking out. This is the terracotta color, and this is their sock yarn. It is 440 yards, and it's made in Peru. And yeah, this is terracotta, and I got another one. Well, this is like an orangey color, and I loved this too. I loved all the colors that I got. They are so beautiful. And then the second skein, because I couldn't just get one, this one threw me for a loop. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know if that is in a dialect that is spoken in Peru, because in Spanish, I have never heard of that. And in English, I don't know if it's a word. So if you know what it means, please let me know, because I am very interested. I was making sense of the name Malabrigo, and I don't know if that's a word from a dialect in Peru, but abrigo is a Spanish word that means like a jacket or a sweater. And so yeah, I'm just wondering what's up with this name? It seriously, like, it's got me so interested on what it means. So I think I'm gonna have to Google it. But if you know it, please let me know. And this one is a yellow, and I am not kidding. I love all of these colors. They are so beautiful. I'm just gonna hold them straight. So these are my Eat Sleep Knit colors. My Malabrigo and my Madeline Taj. Hello. I was so happy to go and get these because I just needed them. And I buy yarn. My friend and I were discussing about yarn, and she buys the yarn with a pattern in mind. I think I've said that before. And I buy the yarn and then I find the pattern that I like. And she was saying that she doesn't like to do that because she doesn't ever want to run out. And I was like, I totally get you. But I look for projects and I want to, like, I look at the yardage that I have, and then I look for projects that would be enough, or I can always mix two of them. So, yay! So now those get to go back there with my fancier yarn. And I was really bummed out about the Fiber Fest. So I was talking to husband, and he was like, "Oh, well, if you," and since we hadn't gone to Eat Sleep Knit, he was like, "Well, see if there's anything you want online." So you don't gotta tell me twice, husband. I'm there. So I went to Craftsy and I got some of their Cloudborn fibers. It is wool fingering, and I don't know if the name is Scarlet Heather. I think it might be the name. I don't know if you can see it or not. I apologize if it's super blurry, but it is. I got two of them, and they are dark red, almost like a wine red. And there are 402 yards of this, and it is 100% fine Highland wool, and it is a #1 weight fingering. And so the reason I got this is because I do have a pattern in mind for these, actually, which is totally the opposite of what I just told you. I usually buy the yarn and then the yardage, but there is a shawl that I saw that I really want to make that I would love to use this for. And so I did order some of those. And then also from Craftsy, I got some bear yarn. Why? Because I want to dye. That's what I want to do. I just want to dye. I am so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I want to try dyeing. And the reason why, that's all I got from them. But the reason why I want to dye is because I started watching a new podcast. A new podcast to me. It is called 10,000 Stitches, and the host is Andy. And she has had a couple tutorials showing how to dye yarn with food safe colors like Kool-Aid and food coloring and stuff like that. So it made me really want to try it because of the way that she approached it. She makes you think you can do it, and therefore I want to do it. I will do it. So I'm really excited about that, and so I went ahead and ordered the yarn as my Georgia Fiber Fest depression was happening. So yeah, husband still hasn't said if we will Southeast Animal Fiber Fest in North Carolina, Fletcher, North Carolina. It is at the end of October, but he still has not said anything yet. So I'm still waiting to find out. Hopefully he's going to say yes, and we're going to be able to go. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If not, it's fine. I have plenty of yarn. Now I just need to find patterns and use them and knit them up and everything. So yeah, but I'm just really excited. I always feel spoiled when I get so many things. I really do, because I mean, it's something I love to do, and husband's always very supportive, like I've always told you guys. So thank you, husband. But yeah, and then this is the only one I have plans for. The other I don't really know what to do with. I will look for patterns and then see what I find. But yeah, I totally loved everything that I got. And then I think that's all of my fibery content for now. I'm gonna catch up with you guys a little bit. The Japan Fest happened here in Atlanta this past weekend, and we were able to go. And like I said, Gigi was there. We got one of those grab bags with like a whole bunch of different like food from there, and we got some like, I don't know if it's candy, but I'm afraid to try it because it comes in little packaging, and they have like pictures of sushi on the outside. So I'm wondering if it's like dried up sushi or something, but I don't really want to try dried up fish. I'm just not good with dried up things. Yeah, I don't like it. So I didn't want to try it. So we divided all the stuff in there between the four of us, and husband ended up with all of those. And my son got a little Ultra Ball from Pokemon, and he decided to give it to me. He wanted me to have it here, and so I told him that I was going to keep my stitch markers in there, which I haven't put in there yet, but I'm going to do that, and it'll probably just live there. So yeah, so we did have a lot of fun. It was really nice. They had like different sections. They had Anime Town, where it was just a lot of animes that were like, they were the section just selling everything anime. And then there was like a food court where you could go and try different dishes. And then there was a music stage where there were drummers performed. And then I don't remember the name of the little guitars, but my son was going crazy because we watched, we own Kubo and the Two Strings, and if you haven't seen that movie, I really liked it. My kids really liked it, but it's, I think it's claymation, and so it takes a really long time to make those kinds of movies. And I was watching a behind the scenes, and it just blew my mind because the monsters that they created for the movie, they ended up making like huge, I don't know, like just a huge thing of it. Like one of the monsters is like a skeleton. So they had a like human sized one, and they were like, if we were to make him to scale, he would be like 10 stories high. And so I was like, wow, because he was huge compared to the little like clay Kubo, you know. So I don't know if I said Cubo. I didn't mean to say Cubo. It's Kubo. But anyways, it's a really cute movie for kids, and if you haven't seen it, I would suggest that you give it a go. And then they also had a section where a school that teaches Japanese here in Atlanta had like their own little room, and so they had different kind of things for sale. They had stuff that was basically like yard sale stuff that you would find at a yard sale, like books and pots and stuff like that, like just different things. And then they had brand new things, and then the students had a table. The students that actually attend the school had a table, and in one area of it, they had a bookmark section where they would ask you to write your name and then to say your name so that they could write it for you in Japanese. And what I found very interesting was that depending on how you say it is, it makes the difference on how they're going to write it. Because if your name begins with an A and it's Aaron, then, you make the or Aaron. And then if your name is Andrew and you go a little bit higher, or Adrian, is that making the different sounds? Arthur or Adrian. There you go. The two different sounds. Arthur, and then Adrian. So because they sound different, it's the difference in the characters that they would use. So I thought that was awesome. It really blew my mind. And I did say my kids' names in Spanish. I got one for my son and one for my daughter. And now I'm thinking we should have got one for everybody. I don't know why I didn't get one for everybody, but we should have. And then on the other side of that table were two little boys that were selling origami for 25 cents and 50 cents. And they had a little jumping frog, and it was in the 50-cent section. And so they were talking to my son, and they were like, look, it actually hops. And it does. Like, you push it down and it'll actually hop. And so he was like, do you like it? And my son was like, yeah, I do. So then the little boy that was selling it moves it over to the 25 cent. He's like, look, it's only 25 cents. And like scoots it forward to him. And he's like, oh, thanks. So he spent a whole $1 on origami. He got the little frog. He got an octopus, a zebra, and I don't remember what else he got. The zebra, the octopus, the frog. Oh, and the crane. He got a little crane. And so he was really happy. And they were trying to get him to get the throwing stars. But he's like, no, that's okay. And later on, he ended up getting a throwing star when we went to see the martial arts demonstration. At the end, all of the guys and girls that were doing the demonstration threw some throwing stars, because they did do a lot of like ninja moves, and that one was really cool to see, like small petite women flip over these huge men. And I was like, I was hugging my husband, and I was like, I want to do that to you. I want to flip you. I don't know. It just seemed cool. It seemed cool for me to be able to flip my husband, because I'm a short person. I am 5'2". He's 5'10". So that's a good chunk of difference. So I just find it amazing that a small person can, beat up a bigger person. So anyway, so it was really fun. We had a blast. And so yeah, we've just enjoyed our time here. On Friday, that was Sunday. On Friday, we ended up just staying home and watching a lot of movies. We watched Power Rangers, which, by the way, I was totally a Power Ranger fan when they first came out, the originals. And at the end of the movie, I was geeking out because they show the original Kim and Tommy. And I was like, ah! Like, I was telling my husband, I think they made this movie more for us than they did for the kids because, you know, like we knew the backstories of, well, of the originals and stuff. And Billy was my favorite, the Blue Ranger. He was always my favorite. And in the movie, he's still my favorite. I really like him. And it was a bit of a tearjerker, I have to say. We did shed some tears in a couple of the scenes, but you know, it happens sometimes. And then we watched A Dog's Purpose, which I feel like that was just us torturing ourselves because we are huge dog lovers. And every time that little dog died, like we were, my daughter and I were like, why does he have to die? Like, but anyways, it ends up on a happy, and they do have a happy ending, so that was nice. And those were the ones we got for the kids, like to watch as a family. And then my husband got a movie called The Wall, which I thought he was getting the Matt Damon movie that's called The Great Wall. So The Great Wall has to do, it's like, I think in Japan and, you know, the Great Wall of China type thing. And The Wall, which is the one that my husband got, had to do with the wall in the Middle East, like in the war zone territories. And it was so not, there was no Matt Damon in there. So, I mean, I watched it, it was fine, whatever. And then we also got Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And that one was also a tearjerker. At the end, I was like, why is it so emotional? I can't even. Like, it was just funny. And I haven't really, I guess I haven't watched movies in a really long time. So we just did like a whole night of movie watching. And that was really nice to just stay home as a family and enjoy all those movies. So, yeah, and then this weekend we're having sleepovers because it was my daughter's birthday and she didn't want to party or anything, so she just asked for a couple of our friends to spend the night, and we said yes. And she just wants me to cook. So I am Hispanic. Sadly, I don't know how to make a lot of Hispanic dishes, but my daughter asked for pork dumplings, which I know how to make, therefore they will be made. Chicken lo mein, which I also know how to make. I'm going to be making miso soup, and she just wants steamed rice, which, you know, that one's easy. And I think that was all she asked for. She might want us to make mochi, which we also can make, but that one was hard. The last time we made it, I had to throw a pot away. So I don't think I want to give mochi a try again. Now, I've made it before and it was fine, and then she made it and we had to throw a pot away. But then she made it again and then everything was okay. So I don't know. But the texture is not for everybody. It's quite not slimy, but the texture is just, it's very sticky, and it is not for everybody. It reminds me of a also sticky paste thing that I know it from Africa. One of my husband's friends' mom, they grew up there, and they would eat it, and it's called fufu. and I really like it. My husband does not like it. I really like mochi. My husband does not like mochi. So, yeah. But anyway, so I have a weekend full of cooking ahead. And so tomorrow I will be going to the international store to get all my stuff for the dumplings and lo mein and everything. And so yeah, so I am gonna be busy this weekend with that. And I wanted to record today because next week my kids are out of school. Therefore, we may be running around and I may not have some time to record. And so I wanted to go ahead and get a video out to you guys. So yeah, like while everything is fresh in my memory, and I realized like I hardly ever really share anything with you guys. I don't know why I don't, but maybe I need to do a little more of that, a little more sharing. And yeah, so I guess that's it. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you're staying safe wherever you are. A lot of stuff's been happening around the world, and yeah, I just hope everything's going well with you guys. So thank you very, very much for stopping by and sharing a little bit of your time with me. Hey guys, some technical difficulties happened, so I wanted to come by and say thank you guys for stopping by. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and hasta la próxima.